I'm Dr. Deb Butler, and you are listening to Thinner Peace and Menopause and Beyond. This is episode number 325. Welcome to Thinner Peace and Menopause and Beyond. This is Dr. Deb Butler, Master Life and Weight Coach, and as always, your coach. If you're a woman and you're smart and you're successful and you've been struggling with weight your whole life, and now menopause is making it harder than ever, and you are ready to make this the last time you ever have to go on a diet again, then this podcast is for you. Stay tuned. Well, hello, all my dear friends all over the world. I have something special for you today. I know I say that a lot, but actually what I'm going to talk to you about today is something that I talked about a few years ago. And a lot of you, if you just started listening, maybe don't know about my experience in Belize. I actually lived in Belize for almost 2 years and did a bunch of recordings when I was living on the Caribbean Sea. So this podcast that I'm going to play for you today is when I was living on the Caribbean Sea and a little bit about my escapades there. It brings back such fun memories for me. But the other reason that I want you to listen to this, one of my most popular downloaded podcasts, one of my most valuable podcasts, one of my MVPs, is because I know it's summertime and I don't want you to wait one more minute to start taking care of yourself. You actually can do all the work that I talk about at your next meal. So what I talk about in this podcast that you're going to listen to today is how to start now. You don't have to wait till tomorrow. You don't have to wait. You start the next time you get hungry. So sit back, take a walk, take a bath, whatever it is that you do. Listen to my experience when I was living in Belize. You're going to love it. And listen to the wisdom that I will share with you on why now is the best time to start. Enjoy. Hey everybody, how are you today? It's a beautiful day in paradise, as always, and it's rainy season again. I know I talked to you over the year about when rainy season comes, and it does rain more, but I'll tell you what, it's a lot cooler. And last night we went to a movie. And I don't want to call it a movie theater because it's not, but it's like a movie. It's not even a movie screen. It's like a big sheet, but much more professional than a big sheet, sitting out over a lagoon. So it's on the other side of the Caribbean Sea. And they show movies every week, and it's called Truck Stop. And last night they showed The Shape of Water. And oh my gosh, I love that movie so much. And I also loved sitting under the stars and watching this wonderful movie. But the other thing that I want to tell you with rainy season and all, it was cold. It was so cold outside. So I think it was probably 70, but it was like I was so cold that, I had my husband's jacket on and I was still cold. Now, don't cry for me or anything, but I just thought I would share that with you. Poor me. Last night I went to a movie under the stars, saw a wonderful, wonderful movie. It was 70 degrees and I was freezing. Anyway, today, you know what I want to talk to you about? Well, I want to talk to you about a few things. The first thing I'm going to talk to you about, again, is I want to talk to you a little bit about reviews on iTunes because I know there are a lot of you listening. And there are not as many reviews as there are you people listening to me. So in order for more and more people to find this and for me to share my message, it's pretty important that if you love my podcast, that you share your review, share your thoughts about it on iTunes, because then it helps other people just like you find it. So first, I'm going to tell you how to do a review again, and I'm going to read you a review because I love reading reviews. Because, I'm sitting here looking at the Caribbean Sea and I have no clue what any of you are thinking unless you tell me. So I love the reviews. So I'm going to encourage you again today to do a review, and I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it. And then the other thing I want to do today is talk to you a little bit about some sadness that I feel because some of the people that I talk to in my many sessions and even my clients, the sadness that comes from them makes me really sad. And what makes me really happy is that I feel like I have the solution to their sadness. But sometimes when I see how sad and forsaken so many of you feel about yourselves, it does make me super duper sad. So this is also about talking to you a little bit about that, and then why I do these podcasts. It encourages me even more because as I hear more and more of your own sadness about yourself, it encourages me even more to want to get a message out to you. And today, the message that I want to get out to you is that you can just start right now. I don't care how sad you are. I don't care how frustrated you are. I know that some of you are, but most important, I just want you to know that wherever you are, you can start right now. Okay. So first of all, I want to talk to you about a review. How do you do a review on iTunes? And I'm going to take you through it as I go. So if you have an iPhone, and that's what I'm going to teach you from, an iPhone, because that's all I have. And if you don't have an iPhone, then this is probably not going to make sense to you. But what you're going to do is you're going to go into the podcast icon on your apps on your phone. You'll see a podcast icon. Click on that. When you get on that, I want you to go to the bottom where it says listen now, library, browse, and search. And I want you to tap on search. And when the search browser comes up, I want you to put in there thinner piece in menopause. And as you're typing that, you will see that the title of my podcast will come up. When it does, I want you to tap on that. When you tap on that, it will then come to a picture of me with the name of the podcast, and you'll see under it how many stars it's rated, which is 5, and how many ratings it has. If you scroll down to, you'll see best of podcasts, available episodes, and then you'll see ratings and reviews. When you see ratings and reviews, if you scroll down just a little bit past the first review, you're going to see something that says write a review. I want you to tap on write a review and a window will come up and it will have how many stars do you want to rate it. And if you love it, please give it 5. Then after you write a title and then you write the review, it says optional, but it's not optional. I want you to write it. Once you write the review, all I would like you to do is push send on the top right-hand corner and you are done. Seriously, it takes about 5 minutes. It means a lot to me and you certainly give me ideas of what you like and what you don't like. And what I want to do is I want to read you one somebody wrote. And actually, it's not on the review yet. She's putting it on there. She actually sent it to me in an email. And then I asked her to put it in a review. It's like, you guys, if you're going to write me emails, I love your emails, but I'm the only one that reads it. So if you love it, then you put it on iTunes. And not only do I get to read it, but you get to share it with so many people. And I get to share this message because more people will find it. Okay, so anyway, this is what somebody just wrote to me. And if you remember on my last podcast, last 3 podcasts, I wrote all about urges and all about this age-old technique from the Buddhist philosophy on how to stop urges. And I asked people, in my blogs and even in the podcast to tell me what you think about it. So here's what one person wrote about it. And this is actually a wonderful review. It gives me a lot of information. And at the same time, it will help you find me if you want to. So here's what she wrote. You have brought clarity to my life since I first listened to you back in August. Since then, I've lost 40 pounds. So much I've wanted to say to you, and the most important is thank you. Thank you for your podcast. Thank you for continuing to reach out to everyone. And thank you for continuing to learn and share your knowledge with all of us. I can appreciate your discomfort in presenting something new. Shempa came to me at the exact right time. So that's what I was talking about, guys. I'm kind of interrupting the letter for a minute. This whole idea of Shempa, which is a Buddhist term for an urge. And what she's saying, it came to her at the right time. I've been struggling the last few weeks, and the concept of urges and thoughts that create them is a nugget of solid gold to me. She says, I love the last two podcasts, and I've listened to them 3 times and expect to repeat once more. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's from Kathy. And I always appreciate it so much. And I hope that helps you too, because the last 3 episodes, the last podcast, 93, 94, and 95, were all on urges and how to control urges. And all an urge is a feeling that's created by a thought that usually makes you overeat in this case. You know, an urge is something that feels so irresistible and it feels like you must give into it. And all of that, every time you give into it, you reward the behavior, and it's an ongoing cycle and an ongoing thing in your brain. And the only way to stop it, as I said in these last 3 episodes, go back and listen to them if this interests you. The only way to stop them is to interrupt the thought and to not give into the behavior. So the urge that feels so strong and irresistible, if you don't eat, you actually start creating new neural pathways in your brain and a whole new way of thinking and feeling. But it starts with having to not give into the urge, which is pretty difficult. But here is what Kathy said, is that she started doing it. It really starts making sense to her, and it came to her at the right time. So I appreciate that. And I'm sure this will go on iTunes because I asked her to do it afterwards. And I want you to do the same thing. If there's something in this that you really appreciate, share it with me and share it with other people so that they can find this. So I told you how to do the review, so go do it. Okay. Now I want to talk to you about a little nugget that's called starting. And I know I talk to so many of you, and I guess one of the things that is so scary for me when I talk to you is how you just feel like you just don't know where to start, and you feel so sad and frustrated with yourself. And so this is what I want to offer you. If those are some feelings that are running around in your mind, there is nothing more potent than changing it. And one of the best ways that I know how to change something when you feel like you can't do something or you haven't succeeded at something is just to start somewhere. So this is what I want to offer you today, that if you've heard some of my podcasts or if you've been listening for a while, but you're still having trouble starting, this is what I want to offer you. Number 1, when I talk to you today, when I'm through telling you how to start, I want you to click the podcast off, and then I want you to do what I'm going to tell you to do in about 2 seconds. And I'm only going to tell you one thing, and then I want you to do it. Okay? And if you do that, you will have started now. And there is nothing more powerful than to start doing something now that will create all different kind of feelings, right? I can figure it out is such a wonderful thought when you're starting something new. Instead of I don't know how or I don't know how to start, when you think a thought such as I can figure this out, I can start with the first thing, right? And the first thing that I want you to think and to do is, drum roll please, and I have to tell you, I'm going to give you a hint. This is from my very, very first podcast, and I still think it's what resonates the most with everybody that listens to this. All right, this is what I want you to do. The next time you sit down to eat, this is what I want you to do. You know what I'm going to say, but if you've never heard me before and this is your first podcast, I want you to do 3 things every time you sit down to eat. Number 1, I want you to ask yourself, how hungry am I? And I want you to look at my physical hunger scale that's in my companion workbook that you can get online by going to drdebbutler.com/change. And that will show you this physical hunger scale that I'm talking about. And I want you to imagine in your mind that you have this hunger scale that goes from a -10 to a +10. And a +10 is stuffed and a -10 is starving. And I want you to start eating at what you consider a -2. And I want you to stop eating at what you consider a +2. Now, I know you've never done this before and you have no idea what these numbers are. But I show you in this book about what it might feel like, and I want you just to start making guesses. So every single time you sit down to eat, I want you to ask yourself, how hungry am I? And give yourself a number. I don't care if it's a -4, a -5, a -2. Just tell yourself, I'm at a -4. And when you're done eating, I just want you to put a number on how full you are, knowing that we're going to a +2, which is a whisper of fullness. And then I want you to go to my emotional hunger scale, and it too has a scale from a -10 to a +10. However, on this, we're measuring emotions. So a -10 is the worst you can feel, and a +10 is the best you can feel. And I just want you to start putting numbers on your emotions. And I want to give you a hint about this because for most of my clients, this is really difficult in the beginning. So I want to make it easier for you. I just want you to make a guess. Happy, sad, mad, glad. If you're happy, it's probably going to be in the plus numbers. If you're sad, it's probably going to be in the negative numbers. And I want to tell you one other thing, since I've talked about urges a lot in the last few podcasts, that if you know you're having a strong urge or it feels irresistible that you have to eat, that is a negative emotion, right? Urges are negative emotions. I just want you to write down how strong that feels. And then once you have those numbers, then I want you to evaluate the situation. Because if you want to eat beyond a +2 and you know you're done, then I want you to be able to look at that emotional hunger scale. And this is what I want to offer you. Most of the time, if you want to continue to eat and you know you're at a +2, there is something going on emotionally inside of you that you need to look at. And even if you just guess, I want you to guess a number. Okay? That's all I want you to do to start. Now, when you get off this podcast, the next time you sit down to eat, how hungry am I? How full am I? And how do I feel? And this, I'm telling you, all my sweet, darling friends, or if I were talking to myself, my darling sweetheart, that this is the beginning of connecting to your body. This is the beginning of how to lose weight by being connected to your body. This is where it starts. That's all I want you to do. Don't make it any more difficult than that. And then what I want you to think after you start doing this is I can figure out the next step. Next. But right now, I'm going to ask myself, how hungry am I? And how full am I? And how am I feeling every time I sit down to eat? I'm going to be curious with myself, with whatever comes up, and I am not going to be hard on myself. I am going to treat myself as if I were my most beloved child and I was trying to learn how to help them. That's what I want you to do. And I want you to start now. Okay? So, you're going to start now by listening to your physical hunger scale, your emotional hunger scale. You're going to start now because you're going to go and you're going to give this podcast, if you love it, a review. And I told you just how to do it. And this is the other thing. If you need help starting now, and there's any hesitation about starting now, then you know I also offer mini sessions. 30 minutes of free time with me where I might be able to help you start now if you can't do that on your own. And how do you have a mini session with me? You go to drdebbutler.com/work with me,
and you can make an appointment for that. I only offer 3 a week. I don't have a lot of time, but I have those 3 a week. If you want it, go get it. But start now. Okay? You got it? Now, you know what I'm going to say next. I know you know, but I'm going to say it anyway, and I'm going to tell you why it's so important. That all the stuff that I'm telling you right now about starting, you have got to be very, very, very kind to yourself, because it's the only way you can find out and be curious about what's going on with you. If you get hard and you start screaming and yelling at yourself, your inner self or your inner child will not speak to you. If you're kind and compassionate, you can find out so much stuff about what's going on when you begin to eat and when you begin to stop. So with that, I want you to be very, very kind to yourself. See you next week. Bye-bye. If you've been following my podcast and you're loving all the tools that I teach you, but you're just not sure that you can do it or apply it by yourself, then please go to drdebbutler.com/work with me. And you can find out if the program that I do and the coaching that I do will help you get to where you want to be, to learn all the tools that I teach and be able to make it a part of your life. Just go to drdebbutler.com/work with me. You can set up a free 30-minute mini session.